It's time for the best start and sit advice for week 2 of the 2025 NFL season. A lot of clarification we got from week 1. A lot of these players, there's going to be some guys in here. The first names we're going to be talking about are somebody that did not perform very well at all. Well below expectations in week 1 of the 2025 NFL season, but you still want to start them in your lineup, so don't make the mistake of sitting him. We got a lot of names, a lot more start advice than sit advice. I feel like the projections to start this year are pretty accurate. We only have, 1 week of data, 1 week of games. So for example, Kenneth Walker. Sure, Kenneth Walker came out and he split touches. He split touches with Zach Charbonnet for sure. Charbonnet vultured the touchdown. Kenneth Walker had only 20 yards on 10 carries, but he did have 3 receptions on 3 targets. So I can't come out there and say sit Kenneth Walker with 100% certainty, because what if he was more effective? What if it was 10 for 50 and he got the touchdown and he was the receiving back, it looked like, surprisingly over Charbonnet, who's more of the receiving back. So that's why there's more start decisions in this video. Starting off with something that I think it shouldn't even be stated. I just want to say Ja'Marr Chase. So with Ja'Marr Chase, what you're looking at here, and the reason he's even mentioned in this video is because of how bad he was. 2 catches, 26 yards, only 5 targets, too, in the Cleveland Browns matchup with the Bengals, right? So the Bengals actually debatably lost versus the Browns. The Browns kicker sabotaged and lost them the game. But Ja'Marr Chase did not look good whatsoever. Neither did T. Higgins. Neither did Joe Burrow. The Browns' D-line was getting home. Chase Brown salvaged his day. Wasn't very effective, but he got a touchdown. So what you need to learn and look at with Ja'Marr Chase is they take on the Jacksonville Jaguars. Come on. The Jaguars ain't going to be getting pressure like the Cleveland Browns were. Ja'Marr Chase and T. Higgins and Joe Burrow are must starts. I had a question. Should I start Joe Burrow or should I start Justin Fields? Now, I gave him a pretty simple answer. If you are in a 6-point passing touchdown, you start you start Joe Burrow, no questions asked. If you're in a 4-point passing touchdown, I still honestly would lean Joe Burrow. That's how confident I am in Joe Burrow versus Jacksonville Jaguars. He projects out just so much better. Whereas Fields, sure, he's got a lot of upside with the ground. He had one of his best passing games, and he had a great rushing day. He had like 60, 70 rush yards and a tutty on the ground. So the floor is pretty high, and he might be in a shootout with the Buffalo Bills. Fields, you can't trust him as much. There's not as much proven track record, not as much consistency, whereas Joe Burrow takes on the Jaguars. I think it's a no-brainer. All Bengals are must-start this week. Travis Etienne. Say bye-bye to Tank Bigsby. If you drafted Tank Bigsby, it looks like you made the wrong decision. I'm actually going to have to go check. I'm going to go check my exposure on Tank Bigsby. Hopefully I made the right decision. Hopefully you did as well. Travis Etienne Jr., 16 rushes, 143 rush yards. It's unbelievable. It's almost unbelievable. If we look at last season, he didn't even break 70 rushing yards once. So, insane. Insane. Is Travis Etienne back? He also, let's go to the receiving usage, 3 catches, 3 targets, 13 yards. Bashal Tuna was dust. LaQuint Allen did have a 3rd down receiving role potentially. It looks like it's Etienne's job to lose. You have the new coaching staff, and it seems like they want to utilize Travis Etienne. He is a must-start in week 2 against who? The Bengals. Jaguars Bengals. Start Travis Etienne. Now, I know we already mentioned this player as well, Justin Fields. Justin Fields is a must-start. We already mentioned the fact that there could be a shootout. Now, the Jets, I don't know if they're going to be able to compete and make it a shootout, but they will be behind. The Bills are going to put up points. It's as simple as that. Justin Fields, the reason I like him here is because I think there's only 6 better quarterbacks. Now, if you have one of the 6 better quarterbacks, off the top of my head, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, Jaden Daniels, Jalen Hurts, Joe Burrow. Those are the 5. And I guess I'll put one other ahead of him too. I'm also going to put Pat Mahomes as the whatever, 6th or 7th, right? So those guys I would start ahead of Justin Fields. I don't know who you're starting after that. After that, like even Mahomes versus Fields is honestly a close call for me, but Pat Mahomes also had 50-plus rush yards in week 1. Maybe it was because they were so off script with the Worthy injury. Maybe Mahomes obviously comes back down to earth. Tough matchup versus the Eagles, who destroyed him in the Super Bowl. I get it. But I think Justin Fields, like what he has done in his career, if you were to look at 2022, QB5 finish. I mean, this guy was averaging most 70, 75 rushing yards per game back in 2022. Just insane high ceiling. So Justin Fields is somebody you want to look at starting. Keenan Allen. Say it ain't so, he's back. He's back, and he's the wide receiver too. I think he had the most points. Either him or the Big Q with the Big Q's touchdowns had the most points in Friday Night Football versus the Chiefs. But he was involved right out the gate. He was involved in a big way. He outscored, guess who? Out-targeted too. Lad McConkey. So Keenan Allen had 10 targets, 7 catches, 70 yards, and a touchdown. I mean, take the touchdown away, he still had a 14-point day. So, I mean, it was just solid, man. It is solid. They take on the Las Vegas Raiders, Monday Night Football, prime time, 10 p.m. You got to put Keenan Allen in there in the flex if you have him. If you have him, it might be a league winner. Those are the starts for the week. We have 3 names to talk about sitting. Let alone sitting Cooper Kupp, it might be time to get benched. Cooper Kupp was so uninvolved. I wouldn't cut him. I was just making a joke about that. He had 3 targets. He had 2 catches. He had 15 yards. Sam Darnold's first game with the Seahawks, 150 passing yards, 130 of it went to JSN. They'll get better. They will get better. There'll be more chemistry. If Kupp's healthy, I expect, he'll average probably 5-6 targets a game. 6 targets, you'd probably be a little bit generous there. But there's better days ahead for Cooper Kupp. Now, are they starting lineup worthy days? I don't know. But I sure as heck ain't playing him this week against the Pittsburgh Steelers defense, even though the Steelers defense just got torched by Justin Fields. Isaiah Pacheco is the second name to be sitting. I was actually pretty high on Pacheco coming into the season. I still am. I'm not going to lie. I still am. I think that they might be just managing his workload, trying to keep him healthy, because that's been something difficult for him throughout his career. Isaiah Pacheco only had 5 rushes in week 1. They got away from the ground. 5 carries, 25 yards. He did have 3 targets. He brought in 2 catches for 3 yards. I think there's better days ahead for Pacheco. I'm just not starting him this week against the Super Bowl champions of the Philadelphia Eagles. I want some more clarity on the red zone role. We didn't get to see the red zone role between Kareem Hunt and Pacheco because they weren't in the red zone. Now, with the injuries, I think Pacheco could be potentially a focal point of this game. So there's a chance Pacheco has a good day. I just ain't taking that chance, if I don't have to. If you have to take him, if you have to start him, you have to do what you have to do, but not my favorite for sure. Juwan Jennings is the next sit. Now, this one seems obvious. Now, it sounds like he's fine with his shoulder. All of the tests are coming back clean. I was tempted to put Ricky Pearsall here, too. I was. And see, honestly, it's bad. If Mac Jones that's the thing. If Mac Jones starts this game, you feel bad, man. Like, that is why I'm talking about benching these guys, is pretty much just because if Brock Purdy's there, even though Juwan Jennings was a bum in week 1, he still might be worthy of a flex play because of, the injuries. I think Juwan Jennings can potentially thrive with Brock Purdy. I think there's better days ahead. But Brock Purdy is hurt, his shoulder and his toe, right? Juwan Jennings is also hurt. So it just seems like an obvious bench situation pending some of these injury news for the 49ers. There it is. That is the start and sit advice for week number 2. I'll see you boys in week number 3 if you like and subscribe for this video.